Napoleon instituted numerous reforms, many of which had a lasting impact on France, Europe, and the world. He reformed the French administration, codified French law, implemented a new education system, and established the first French central bank, the Banque de France. He negotiated the Concordat of 1801 with the Catholic Church, which sought to reconcile the majority Catholic population to his regime. It was presented alongside the Organic Articles, which regulated public worship in France. He also implemented civil and religious equality for Protestants and Jews. In May 1802, he instituted the Legion of Honor to encourage civilian and military achievements. The order is still the highest decoration in France. He introduced 3 French constitutions, culminating in the reintroduction of a hereditary monarchy and nobility. Napoleon introduced a series of centralizing administrative reforms soon after taking power. In 1800, he established prefects appointed to run France's regional departments, sub-prefects to run districts, and mayors to run towns. Local representative bodies were retained, but their powers were reduced, and indirect elections with a high property qualification replaced direct elections. Real power in the regions was now in the hands of the prefects, who were judged by how they met the main priorities of Napoleon's government: efficient administration, law and order, stimulating the local economy, gathering votes for plebiscites, conscripting soldiers, and provisioning the army. An enduring reform was the foundation, in December 1799, of the Council of State, an advisory body of experts which could also draft laws for submission to the legislative body. Napoleon drew many of his ministers and ambassadors from the council. It was the council which undertook the codification of French law. After several attempts by revolutionary governments, Napoleon officially introduced the metric system in France in 1801, and it was spread through Western Europe by his armies. The new system was unpopular in some circles, so in 1812 he introduced a compromise system in the retail trade called the mesures usuelles, traditional units of measurement. In December 1805, Napoleon abolished the revolutionary calendar, with its 10-day week, which had been introduced in 1793. Napoleon's civil code of laws, known from 1807 as the Napoleonic Code, was implemented in March 1804. It was prepared by committees of legal experts under the supervision of Jean-Jacques Regis de Cambaceres, the second consul. Napoleon participated actively in the sessions of the Council of State that revised the drafts. The code introduced a clearly written and accessible set of national laws to replace the various regional and customary law systems that had operated in France. The Civil Code entrenched the principles of equality before the law, religious toleration, secure property rights, equal inheritance for all legitimate children, and the abolition of the vestiges of feudalism. However, it also reduced the rights of women and children and severely restricted the grounds for divorce. A criminal code was promulgated in 1808, and eventually 7 codes of law were produced under Napoleon. The Napoleonic Code was carried by Napoleon's armies across Europe and influenced the law in many parts of the world. Cobben described it as the most effective agency for the propagation of the basic principles of the French Revolution. In the field of military organization, Napoleon borrowed from previous theorists such as Jacques-Antoine Hippolyte, Comte de Guibert, and from the reforms of preceding French governments, and then developed what was already in place. He continued the revolutionary policies of conscription and promotion based primarily on merit. Corps replaced divisions as the largest army units, mobile artillery was integrated into reserve batteries, the staff system became more fluid, and cavalry returned as an important formation in French military doctrine. These methods are now referred to as essential features of Napoleonic warfare. Napoleon was regarded by the influential military theorist Karl von Clausewitz as a genius in the art of war, and many historians rank him as a great military commander.